Have you ever stopped to think about the word in? Probably not, right? I mean, it's just two letters. But today, we're going to unpack how this tiny word you use constantly without even thinking holds a surprising amount of power. Seriously, how much can you really cram into just two letters? Well, the answer is a whole lot, actually. We're about to dive into how in does so much heavy lifting in English, and you'll discover it has this, special status that you probably never knew about. All right, so first up, let's look at the many jobs of in. It's a real workhorse, a word of all trades, you could say. Its main gig, the one we all learn as kids, is being a preposition. So job number one is all about location. It's about being inside something. It basically answers the question, where, by telling us one thing is contained within another. Super fundamental stuff. And this is the perfect example, right? The cat is in the box. You immediately see it in your head. There's a box, there's a cat, and the cat is inside. It's so simple, so direct, and it's all thanks to those two little letters. But of course, in doesn't just stop there. It's way more flexible. Think about when you hear, the doctor is now in. That's about availability. Or showing movement, like the rain came in. And it can even help you get specific, like when you say something is different in that. It's just incredibly versatile. You know, you can also get a feel for a word by looking at its relationships. The opposite of in is obviously out, and its close cousin is into, which adds that little bit of motion. Knowing these connections really helps you lock down the meaning. And just when you think you've got it pinned down, in pops up with a totally different job. It's also an abbreviation for inch or inches. Same two letters, completely different meaning. That's the kind of efficiency we're talking about in language. Okay, so we've seen that in is a super useful, multi-talented word. But there's another layer here. There's something more official about it, something that takes it from just being a helpful word to being an absolutely essential one. There's way more to in than meets the eye. Right, so beyond all its different jobs as a preposition or an abbreviation, in is part of a very, very exclusive club. And this is where the story gets really interesting. And here it is, the big reveal. The word in is on the Basic English 850 list. Now, this isn't just some random list somebody made. This is a huge deal. It's a carefully chosen set of the most fundamental building blocks of the English language. Let's just pause on that number for a second. 850. The English language has, over 1 million words? But this list boils it all down to just 850 essential ones. To make that cut, a word has to be unbelievably important. So what is this list? It's basically a core vocabulary. It's a set of words that are considered absolutely essential for communicating basic ideas. If you know these words, you can get by. And in is right there, one of the cornerstones. So that brings us to the big question. It's a cool piece of trivia for sure, but why does this actually matter to you? What does this mean for us when we're trying to communicate? Exactly. Why should any of us care that this tiny word is on some special list? Well, because it tells us something really profound about how language works, and it has some real practical takeaways for all of us. See, it all comes down to this. The real secret to being a clear communicator isn't about using fancy $10 words. It's about having a rock-solid command of the simple ones. Whether you're learning English or you've spoken it your whole life, understanding these core words is the absolute foundation of clear communication, period. If you master these 850 words, you can explain almost anything. You can get your point across, write an email that makes sense to everyone, everything. That's the real power hiding in these simple words. So let's wrap up with the key takeaways. 1. Simple words are often the most powerful ones. 2. You don't need a massive vocabulary. A small core can do most of the heavy lifting. And 3. Mastering the basics is the real secret to fluency and clear communication. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you know the hidden power of in, what other everyday words do you think are doing more work than we give them credit for? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.